Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. I am proud of the response of Canadians who are making their voices heard and their wallets felt. The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada.
Remember when Canada was America's chill neighbor who just wanted to share beer and hockey? Those days are gone. In this video, I'll walk you through how Carney is transforming into Canada's economic avenger, vowing to win the trade war against Trump. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Carney said the old relationship between the US and Canada is toast, how he's building a strategic fund specifically to punch back at Trump, and what this means for prices on everything from cars to electronics. Plus, I've got the receipts on exactly how this is already hurting everyday Americans. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Ever wonder what happens when you push Canada too far? Turns out they don't just apologize, they hit back where it hurts. Your wallet. Mark Carney, the guy who's supposed to be all mild-mannered and polite like every Canadian stereotype, has revealed a side of our northern neighbors that Trump clearly wasn't expecting. It's like finding out your friendly neighborhood librarian knows 3 forms of martial arts and isn't afraid to use them. When Trump slapped those tariffs on Canadian goods, he thought Canada would just roll over like a friendly golden retriever begging for belly rubs. Big mistake, huge mistake. Instead, Carney rolled up his sleeves and crafted what experts are calling a political masterstroke, a strategic response fund aimed directly at pro-Trump states. This isn't your grandpa's polite Canadian response of saying sorry while quietly seething.
There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Donald Trump. I am proud of the response of Canadians who are making their voices heard and their wallets felt. And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect and until they can join us in making credible and reliable commitments to free and fair trade.
Nope, this is Canada saying sorry, not sorry, and then proceeding to hit back with precision. The matching tariffs on US vehicles are just the opening salvo in what's becoming an economic chess match. Trump's over there playing checkers with crayons, while Carney's moving economic pieces across the board with surgical precision. The automotive industry is particularly vulnerable to this Canadian retaliation. Why? Because the North American auto market is so connected that Ontario Premier Doug Ford warned car plants on both sides of the border could shut down simultaneously if these tariffs continue. Parts cross the border multiple times before a vehicle is even finished. It's like the world's most expensive ping pong match.
The Americans want our resources, our water, our land, our country. Canada is a mosaic. America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living.
But here's where Carney gets really sneaky and dare I say, un-Canadian in the best possible way. He's strategically targeting the states that supported Trump. Think about that for a second. While Trump is busy tweeting in all caps about making America great, Carney is quietly dismantling Trump's support base by hitting them where it hurts most, their jobs and their bank accounts. The maple syrup mafia isn't playing around this time, and it gets better. Carney dropped a bombshell when he announced that Canada needs to dramatically reduce its reliance on the United States. That's like your best friend since kindergarten suddenly announcing they need to start seeing other people. It's a historic shift in North American relations that signals Canada's done being taken for granted. The message is crystal clear. The old relationship is over. Trump thought he was breaking up with Canada, but Canada's breaking up with him first. What's particularly telling is Carney's willingness to negotiate, but only under a position where there's respect for Canadian sovereignty. Translation: Canada will talk when America stops acting like Canada is just its 51st state with better healthcare. The days of Canada nodding along to whatever the U.S. wants are finished.
I am grateful for how our provinces are stepping up to the fight, because when we are united, we are Canada strong. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed. If they succeeded, they would destroy our way of life. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right.
The Canadian government isn't just reacting blindly either. They're monitoring 5 key sectors that Trump is targeting: automotive, lumber, steel and aluminum, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals. It's a calculated, measured response rather than a knee-jerk reaction. Canada's basically saying, we see what you're doing and we've already prepared our counter moves. It's economic judo at its finest. The genius part of Canada's strategy isn't just how they're responding to Trump's tariffs, but how they're transforming a trade war into a political weapon. By targeting Republican strongholds that supported Trump, they're hitting the electoral map where it counts. They're making voters in these states question whether Trump's economic nationalism is actually making their lives better or worse. Spoiler alert, it's worse. Consumer confidence in the U.S. has already dropped to the lowest point since January 2021, and Americans haven't even felt the full pain yet. While Trump screams about making America great again, Carney's quietly building alternative trade relationships that bypass the U.S. entirely.
The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada. And in the meantime, we will ensure that all the proceeds from our tariffs will be used to protect our workers. I am grateful for how our provinces are stepping up to the fight, because when we are united, we are Canada strong.
It's like watching someone slowly realize they're not actually the main character in this story. What's most surprising about Canada's revenge plan is how precisely targeted it is. This isn't a blunt instrument, it's a surgical strike designed to protect Canadian interests while maximizing pressure on Trump's political base. The supply chains connecting the two countries are so intertwined that targeting specific industries creates a ripple effect throughout the American economy. So now we're looking at a double whammy of economic pain coming our way. Trump's tariffs aren't just annoying Canada, they're about to smack average Americans right in the wallet. The scope is nearly 10 times larger than his first-term tariffs, and Wall Street is freaking out that this might kill our economic recovery. As one frustrated manufacturer put it, Trump, tariffs, massive uncertainty. How can you do business planning with all this chaos? The Tax Foundation compared it to a child touching a hot stove. We will learn a very hard lesson very fast. Spoiler alert, that lesson's going to show up on your next shopping bill, and Trump's supporters will feel it first.